Alright, so let's go to question 8, part 2. So we are required to find the perpendicular bisector of PQ, right? Okay, so remember, perpendicular bisector, this word, so perpendicular bisector, right? Okay, so perpendicular bisector means these two lines are perpendicular. Okay, so of course, you think of perpendicular lines, right? So if I have two lines, they are perpendicular, the gradient, there's some relationship between them. So let's just say if this gradient here is half, then the gradient right here will be, you flip it, then you change the sign. So for this case is 2/1, then you put a negative sign here. Alright, so that is for perpendicular part. Okay, what about bisector? So bisector means you cut exactly into half. Right, so bisector means is exactly in the middle. Okay, so this related to the midpoint, something like that. Okay, so let's determine what is the perpendicular bisector of PQ. Okay, so if you look at this, right, for the part I, I've gotten the x equal to 4, which is the x coordinate of point Q. Okay, so what is left for now is actually to determine what is the y coordinate of point Q. So this one is actually quite simple, right? So if you look at this, so you can sub 4, x equal to 4 into any of the equation. So what do I mean by that? So you can sub in into this equation, or you can sub in into this equation. So they should give you the same result. If they don't give you same result, means that so means that your answer is wrong already lah. Okay, so let me just sub in. So y, okay, maybe I sub in the first lah. So I just sub in 4 here. So that will be the y coordinate of your so-called your q, point q lah. So y, so 3/2, 4 plus 3. So what? So you'll get roughly 6 plus 3, right, which is 9. Alright, so yeah, so this is the y coordinate. Alright, so let me just put down 9 here. Okay, so after that, I need to determine, what is the perpendicular bisector? So perpendicular bisector, I just draw this as a purple line right here. Okay, so first thing first, I need to find what is the gradient of this PQ. Because I need the gradient of PQ in order to determine the gradient of this purple color line. Alright, okay, so let me just put down. So gradient of PQ. So gradient of PQ is just y2 minus y1. Okay, so same thing, I put down the x1, y1, then here is x2, y2. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y, I just sub in, so this 9, this is your 5, x2 is 4, x1 is negative 3. So you'll get, okay, numerator, you 9 minus 5, 4. Denominator, 4 minus negative 3, which is 7. So that is the gradient of PQ. Of course, you want this gradient for some purpose, right? So you want this gradient because you want to find the gradient of the perpendicular bisector. Okay, so perpendicular bisector, you should flip it. So from 4, 7, right, you become 7, 4. Of course, you change the sign. 7, 4, you put a negative here. Okay, so after determining your so-called your gradient of perpendicular bisector, right, you write down the y equal to mx plus c first. So y equal to m, so I just write down the m value, x plus c. Okay, the next thing is actually to find the y-intercept. Because two values, for whenever we want to write down the equation, right, two values are important. First is your gradient, second is your y-intercept. Okay, after that, how do I find the y-intercept? Very simple. First, the y-intercept, you will need the help of the midpoint. Remember, right, this purple color line bisect the PQ exactly at the midpoint. Alright, so this is the midpoint. So midpoint, same thing, right? You need to also remember the formula. So midpoint is equal to, so x1 plus x2, right? So x1 plus x2, you will get positive 1 divided by 2. You will get 0.5. Then put a comma. So y1 plus y2 is 5 plus 9 is 14, right? 14 divided by 2 is 7. So that will be the midpoint right here. So this is 0.5, 7 bracket. So after determining this, you will notice that my this purple color line passes through the 0.5, 7. So in this case, I can sub in already. Alright, so let's sub in. So this is 0.5, this is 7. Okay, so 7 equal to negative, so this one you can use calculator, so you get 7 over negative 7 over 8 plus c. So your y-intercept is 7, 7, 8. So now I've determined the equation of the perpendicular bisector. So negative 7 over 4x plus 7, 7 over 8. So this is how we do this part 2 question.